Hey dreamers, Happy New Year! I'm Bryce from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, and big fan of Metallica. But I have no idea what my favorite song is. Could it be Invisible Kid? Let's use math to find out. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Invisible Kid, track number 5 from Saint Anger, which means we need a Saint Anger disclaimer. We know about the snare, get over yourself. We're gonna not talk about that. We're gonna listen to the song. It's a long one, so stay tuned. I'm gonna stop it quite often and talk about all of the interesting things that I hear. I'm gonna point them out, and then I'm gonna grade it using the following categories: composition, memorability, emotional response, instrumentation, and lyrics. Each category is a scale of 0 to 4 with a grand total of 20 possible points. We'll find out at the end of the video if this has what it takes to get to the top 20. No Saint Anger song has done so yet, so we'll find out if this is the first one. This is also the lowest tuning, I think, that Metallica's ever had. This sucker is low. You know what else is low? Me. And I think it would bring me up if you would hit the subscribe button. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. You're my best friend now. Nice to see you. Let's listen to the song. Before I click play, I want to point out that this song starts on the and 4. All right? It's not a and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 2, 3. It doesn't do that. It's and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the rhythm. I'm going to count it out and show you why. You don't really notice until it goes into the next riff, but they're tricking you. They really want you to think that's on the 1, but there's just one little hit. I saw a tab once where somebody put like a 1-4 measure just right at the end somewhere, and nope, that's not the case. This is in 4/4 time, almost all the way through, except for the 3/4 in the middle. We'll talk about it when we get there, but it's 4/4 starting on and 4. Here we go. I struggle with this intro because I both love it and hate it. I don't know what to do with it. When I get to my Saving Saint Anger version, when I start trying to mix it up and trying to make this a little bit more listenable, I really like everything that's happening. Ba-ba, just guitar. Ba-ba, just guitar. Ba-ba, then the drums come in. Baku, baku, baku. That's really fun. Ba-ba, baku, baku, ba-ba-ba. And then we have the full band. We have that extra measure. We got a little tom fill. Booka, booka, booka. That riff is just solid. Really cool, really headbangy. Awesome start to a pretty otherwise awesome song. Let's keep going.
Invisible kid, never see what he did. Got stuck where he hid, falling through the grid. Invisible kid, got a place of his own.
You know, this is the probably of the entire record. This is the best situation, best like sequence, best riff for the snare to be off. In my opinion, there's something about that. It feels like a hammer coming down, like just a factory clang, boom, clang, boom, clang, boom, clang, boom, clang. There's something really, really cool about it, specifically in this part of this song. What Lars is doing on the drums is he's actually riding on the toms. He's but he's switching from the toms to the snare. It's a cool beat. Unfortunately, it's not mixed very well, so you can't really hear the attack of the toms. Usually you can hear like the thwack the stick hitting the head, you can get like a nice doom, 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 doom. It's usually really thick, but this is really soft. It's kind of just, and it's so low in the mix, and that snare is just so bang, so loud that you can't really hear what's going on. It almost sounds like he's not doing anything but kick and snare. And so that's unfortunate. But at the same time, if you mix the toms heavier and you had that sharp attack of the stick, it wouldn't sound as cool to me. There's something industrial feeling. Very early 2000s, late 90s new metal sound, and I kind of like it.
Where'll never be known, in a word he's grown. Invisible kid, never see what he did. Got stuck where he hid, falling through the grid. Invisible kid, got a place of his own. Where'll never be known, in a word he's grown.
I like how this part, it's really just James and Lars, but you get the bass just kind of doing boop, 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 really like low in the background. Again, the bass has no top end. It's all just rumble. You can't hear the thump of a pick or a finger. It just there's nothing to it. I absolutely hate the bass in this record. You can't hear what it's doing. But this is kind of a cool groove. Doubles on the hi-hat. Really cool, really fast song on the drums, actually. Having all that, we get doubles on the toms, and now we're doubles on the hi-hat. And then we get to take a break during that, when he goes to the crash. But a lot of energy. I'm banging my head. I'm feeling pretty good.
Invisible kid, locked away in his brain. From the shame and the pain, the world down the drain. Invisible kid, suspicious of your touch. You don't want no crutch, but it's all too much. Invisible kid, locked away in his brain. From the shame and the pain, world down the drain. Invisible kid, suspicious of your touch. Don't want no crutch, but it's all too much, yeah. I hide inside, but I'll show you.
This would be a great place to go into the chorus, in my opinion. This whole "I'm okay, just go away" section kind of falls flat for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Does it fall flat for you? Because it feels like we missed out on the song. We had a really good, really high energy, headbangy song, but then it kind of, well, I'm okay. Listen.
I'm okay, just go away. Go to distance, let me fade.
So they're doing a lot of good things, all right? So the one thing that makes this feel empty for me, the guitars are so low. You can't hear the bass, not very well anyway. You can't really hear the cymbals either. He's riding on the ride cymbal, but it's on the side of the ride, so it's giving like a wash. And it's so low in the mix that it just sounds like he's doing baku, 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 baku with just left hand and then a little bit of kick drum, but even the kick is ducked down. And then the cool thing about this is that they're moving the riff. You know, it's a really movie riff. It's a really riffy riff, if you will. A lot of finger movement, especially in the right hand. So James is singing a more steady kind of melody on top. I'm okay, just go away. It's very legato, right? Very just like I was going to say the strings. Each note is held out as if it's a stringed instrument. And that matches because if you sing exactly what the guitar is going, if he was trying to go, I'm okay, like it just doesn't match the same way. They kind of fight each other, and it's hard to mix things when everything is doing the same thing. So by having a fast riff and a long vocal part, that typically works. The reason it doesn't work here is it just kind of feels empty by comparison to the rest of the song. I think if this was maybe a halftime feel, if Lars was doing like a boom, 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 I think that would feel really cool, but for a different song, right? This just doesn't feel like it fits this song.
I'm okay, just go away. I'm okay, but please don't stray too far.
Same riff.
Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here. Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here.
Okay, so we've heard most of the song now. We are at 254 out of 829, and we're barely going to get anything different. We're going to get a little middle section here, but everything else in the song, lyrically, instrumentally, we've heard pretty much everything. So that's really unfortunate. We're already hitting that mark where it's like, I don't know if I'm ready to take on the rest of the song. Luckily, I've said all that I can about the riffs we've heard so far, so I don't have to pause it very much for the rest of the video, maybe. But it just, oh man, they have such a great potential here. That chorus is so big. Paco, Paco, open your heart, I'm beating right here. Going into that straight riff with the drums, just all cymbals, just all headbanging. But that riff, that's been playing for so long. This next time through, listen to how after the second section of the verse, we're going to go into that and it's just going to keep playing it all the way through the chorus. It just keeps going. It's a little too long for me.
Invisible kid, never see what he did.
No symbol.
Stuck where he hid, falling through the grid. Invisible kid, got a place of his own, where he'll never be known. In a word, he's grown. Invisible kid, never see what he did. Got him stuck where he hid, falling through the grid. Invisible kid, got a place of his own, where he'll never be known. In a word, he's grown. Inside, I hide inside, but I'll show you.
This is the riff I'm talking about. This riff right here, the start of this, if you call this the pre-chorus, it's going to continue all the way through the chorus.
Just go away. I'm okay. Please don't stray.
Point that out there. There's an interesting vocal line. I said in a previous song, I don't remember which one, but your harmonies do not have to match exactly what the lead is doing. This is a really cool harmonizing. I was just watching a video on harmonizing earlier today, I swear. I already forgot what it's called, but basically we have I'm okay, and then there's a harmony that is higher and offset. So it's like a call and response, and he's repeating I'm okay, but he doesn't get to okay. It's just please don't stray too far. It's interesting. I'm please. That doesn't make any sense if you write it down, but auditorily, is that even a word? When you listen to it, it's appealing. It's a nice harmony. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit so you can hear.
I'm okay, but please don't stray too far.
Do like that harmony. One of the best harmonies on the record, I might add, because this record doesn't have a lot of good harmonies.
Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here. Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here.
Okay, so I counted all of that because I find it very interesting. Puka, ba bum ba ba ba. You would think that it's and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, but it's actually and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 2. And it's just so weird, but it adds up because later on, after this 3, 4 section, we're going to come back to it and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we go back to the intro. So really interesting timing going on throughout this song. I appreciate that. The feel is wonky. You think you're bobbing your head on one beat and you think they're adding a measure, but it's still straight common time. Mwah. Compositional love, all the love for the composition there. But now we have this. Brace yourselves.
Yourself. Oh, can't you see that he's not real? He doesn't want the attention you give. Oh, I'm plugging from it.
Ooh, he's trying to do like a run, but he's not like at a point where he can do runs. Ooh, you know, like he could skip all these notes around, but he's like missing them. And I feel like this comes off, I feel like the intent behind it, and I don't know for sure, but it feels like it's supposed to be kind of a mockery, like, ooh, what a good boy you are. Like it's like a witch in the woods or a bully at a high school, like, ooh, look at you, you've been such a good, ooh, you kept to yourself, ooh, you know, it feels mockery. But instead of like coming off mockery, like mockingly, it comes off as I'm not good at singing, and that's a problem. Oh, I just wish like if there was like an animated version, you could put like you know, there's not a music video for this that I know of, but it'd be nice to put like a different character in here, do like a different voice. It sounds too much like his voice on all of the other songs. If he did more of a like if he actually did something with his voice, then you might be able to just call it like, oh, it's a character. But this just sounds like James failing at singing and Bob Rock failing at producing. I don't know who allowed them to put this one out, but this whole section has got to go. For me, it's just, I'm out. I'm done. The rest of the song was awesome, and now you lost me. This is the point where I check out.
Invisible kid floats alone in his room. Come floating round and around in himself.
There might be a change in there. I might be wrong. They might have had a different time signature in there because that change felt a little bit different. I'm going to rewind it because I want to figure this out. Hold on. All right, so there's just an extra 2 beats in there somewhere. A very interesting transition. Compositionally, again, lots of points for switching it up, for giving us a feel. We do have a time signature change, a second time signature change. Very interesting. Whether or not you like that is, you know, doesn't matter as much to me. I find it interesting when a band can throw off the beat while also keeping the beat the same. It's so weird. You can bob your head all the way through. There's always a steady quarter note to bob to, but it's just a little bit off. If you write it down, you have to actually time it out. You have to actually script it out and figure out where that change is. It's not something you could just play naturally. You have to know where that change is, but it's very interesting. So good job on that. Am I wrong? Did I just blab on? Hold on, I'm going back. They at least have the sensibility to, once we come back to the intro, shorten it significantly. So good job on there. They recognize the song is getting long. We got to wrap this sucker up. We're going to get one time through or two times through with just the guitar, and we're going to go straight into a big old friggin' verse. This verse, we've already heard the lyrics before, so how do we keep it interesting? We switch up the drums. Instead of the toms, now we get cymbals and we get double kick pedal. Very awesome, very aggressive, very
Invisible kid locked away in his brain from the shame and the pain, whirled down the drain. Invisible kid, suspicious of your touch. He don't want no crutch, but it's all too much.
Snares on all four. Here we go.
Invisible kid locked away in his brain from the shame and the pain, whirled down the drain. Invisible kid, suspicious of your touch. Don't want no crutch, but it's all too much. Yeah.
And then that all that energy that we built up, like it was just so, like we've hit the peak of the song here. It would be so great to just go into the chorus, but they brought it back down. They built up all of this energy, and like that slow 3/4 section. Oh, we got the intro. Oh, we got this verse. Oh, James is screaming and hide inside. I heard inside. They had so much potential. Just a little copy pasting and switching things around, and this would have been the most incredible song.
I hide inside, I hurt inside, I hide inside, but I'll show you. I'm okay, just go away into distance, let me fade. I'm okay, just go away. I'm okay, but please don't stray too far. Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here. Open your heart, I'm beating right here. Open your mind, I'm beating right here.
That there also is an interesting time signature change. Let me see if I can count that, because there's a weird like extra one measure here. Yeah, there's just a one extra little 2-bar hold out there. Bum 1 2 ba bum bum ba bum. Really interesting. I like what's happening in this outro here. I'm going to point it out and we're going to just listen to it straight. Listen to specifically what the drums are doing. Why? Because the guitars are not going to change. We have a ba bum bum ba ba. That's most of what you're going to be hearing. At first, we have the snare on 1 2 3 4. I guess it would be 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. So the 1 and the 3, and then we have the snare on the 2 and 4. Boom ka boom ka boom ka, and then we have the snare on the 3s only. Boom ka boom boom ka. So he's basically starting with a 4 to the floor, if you will, but on the snare. Bagoom, boom, boom. If that pattern feels, I guess, faster, and then boom, ka, boom, ka. That feels straight. That feels common, back to normal. And then he's got the halftime. Boom, ka. So each time through the riff, he's having it. He's making it feel slower. He's bringing the pace down and then ending. So pay attention to how the drums move throughout this outro. Very interesting. Great. So that's the song. I think it's really interesting what he did in the outro. That also means that the outro riff is 5 times through. Typically, you get a 4 or a 2 or an 8, so it's different to hear a 5. I think that they could have compacted it even more. I wonder what it would sound like if he did maybe 2 with the snares on all, 1 with the, what am I doing with my fingers? 1 with the snare straight, and 1 with the halftime feel. But either way, that's the outro of the song. Song's pretty repetitive. I don't have a whole lot of hopes for the score, but let's give it a score anyway, shall we? Here we go. Whoosh. Composition. There was so much to love about this song. It's unfortunate that the middle section brought it all down for me. I want to celebrate the fact that they're starting on the wrong beat, and by wrong, I mean on a different beat than what we're usually used to, and making it feel like it's the 1, but it's not actually the 1, it's the 4. I appreciate that even that middle section, right before we get to the 3/4 section, we have a and 2, 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. That's a really interesting change up. I like that they're building upon riffs. We have the toms, and then we switch to the crash. I like that we're experimenting with a lot of different drums throughout the song. I like the outro, how it starts bigger and it comes down and it gets halftime and then it ends. It kind of comes down, it kind of symbolizes that. I like a lot of things about this song. The main riff is awesome. The singing is pretty cool most of the way through. But man, that middle section is brutal. Oh, if you just cut all of that out, this would have been fantastic. I think the song is way longer than it needs to be. I'd love to hear a 4 or 5 minute version of this. I know that the verses kind of repeat after the first 2 verses. We just hear them in different orders later on. And so it'd be nice to either get new lyrics, or if they were repeating, that something would change about the music. But I just feel like this song had so much potential and it was all wasted, especially once we got to that middle point. So I wanted to trash it because I hate that middle section so much, but there's so much to love. I'm going to keep it with just a composition point of 1. Memorability. I happen to think that there's a lot in this song that is memorable. Invisible Kid is the start of every line in the verses, so you can catch on to that really quickly. Anyone in the audience hearing this for the first time would be able to just chime in. They don't have to know the rest of the line because there's a pause. Invisible Kid, something, something, something. Invisible Kid. Like there's kind of a cue in. You can pick up on it, you can learn it quickly. And then the right now, open your heart, I'm beating right here, yeah, open your heart, I'm beating right here, right now. I think that's really catchy. I think the main riff is catchy. I think there's a lot of catchy stuff in this song. I think it's memorable. So memorability, that's a 3. Emotional response. Again, kind of falling in the same category as composition. I feel like there was a lot of great stuff. I'm banging my head. I have more fun on most of this song than I do on most of the record. I think there's some really excellent pieces, but as a whole, once you get to that 3/4 section and the ooh what a good boy, I feel like it's no longer a good boy. I feel like it's a bad boy. It just doesn't feel right. It puts me out. It makes me frustrated. Like, why is my band, I feel like I'm hearing my favorite band fall apart right before me, and I don't want them to fall apart. I want them to keep going. So that section just pulls me right out of the song, man. Again, I want to give this a 0, but I do have to say there's a lot to love about this song. So I'll give them one point. That's it. Instrumentation. I don't know. They're doing fine. There's not much to speak of. I appreciate that Lars is keeping us fresh. This whole record has the guitars just phoning it in. I don't know if it's because James was away and Kirk was writing a lot of the riffs or what's going on, but it just feels like every song has only 3 riffs to it. I know that the song has more than 3 riffs, but I'm just saying it just doesn't, for the length of the song, put it next to other songs in their catalog that are 8.5 minutes long. What do you have? Like, Master of Puppets, Orion. You have things like Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is a great example because that song really hinges on 3 different riffs as well. But the way that it builds between them, it goes from clean, it goes to distorted, it adds, it builds, it climbs up the scale a bit, it adds a solo. It is interesting all the way through. And then once it's built upon that riff enough, it goes into a brand new section. And that section is new and interesting. We go back to the intro, and then we have a big climactic ending. This song, 8.5 minutes of the same couple riffs, and we've heard everything we need within 2 minutes of the song, and it gets boring. I don't want to hear boring stuff. I want to hear build and storytelling and interesting, exciting, maybe a new guitar like type. Maybe it's like a interesting sound effect. Maybe there's just anything new. But unfortunately, it's just kind of plateaued out for me. So I just can't get over it. Instrumentation, I can't give them much. Just going to keep it a safe 2. Lyrics. Again, there's a lot of stuff to be celebrated. I like that it's talking about, this kid wanted to stay away from everyone, wanted to keep to himself. He's kind of locked everybody out, locked away in his room. And now, like he never noticed that by sheltering himself, he's not able to go out into the world, right? He's stuck behind a dirty window inside the house that Jack built. It's all coming together. And I like what it's saying. I like the structure. Invisible kid, this. Invisible kid, this. I also like that the rhyme scheme is AAAA. It's really interesting. Kid, did, hid, grid. It's all falling under the same rhyme. I think there's some really cool stuff in here. The reason it brings me down is, again, that middle section. I hate to keep harping on it, but I have to be honest. I'm a positive person. I love this band. I love what they bring, but that middle section is just not crafted to the perfection that it could have been. There are elements there that work, but the execution is where it failed. This is the same way I feel about Disney's Star Wars, except for The Mandalorian. The trilogy that has been released by Disney, episodes 7, 8, 9, to me felt like they were more interested in selling merchandise than they were in telling a big story. There's so much nostalgia just thrown in for the sake of nostalgia, and it doesn't actually serve the story in a way that the story needs. Again, this isn't because I hate Star Wars. This isn't because I hate Metallica. It's because I know that the franchise of Star Wars, that the band that's called Metallica, they have what it takes to make something spectacular. They just failed in the execution. And my opinion on both fronts is that there's some executive in there who got their feet a little bit too close to the action and made too many decisions. I'm looking at you, Bob Rock. So I'm going to say that this isn't Metallica's fault, but overall, lyrically, it just doesn't do what I need it to do. I'm going to keep it at a safe 2. And so Invisible Kid gets a grand total of 9 points, not enough to reach the top 20. It is currently in 64th place out of 82. So, not super bad, but it's technically, I guess, in the bottom 20. So that's unfortunate. But I think that with a little tweaking, this song could have actually had a chance. A lot of stuff to love, but just not the right composition. So fix it up a little bit. That's what I'm going to do, or at least attempt to do. And then we'll talk about it later. All right, let's take a look at that top 20 list. Nothing has changed in a long, long time. We haven't seen anything change since Reload, which was, I guess, 5 songs ago. So maybe it's not that long, but it feels like it's been this same list for a long time. So hopefully, it'd be awesome to see a Saint Anger song get up here, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Anyway, that's where you come in. It's your turn. Put in the comments below, using my system, what song or what score would you give this song, and be honest about it. Also, Happy New Year's. I want to know what your New Year's resolution is. For me, I'm going to try to make it this entire year as a freelancer. All right. About July of 2020, I lost my job because of the COVID problem. And instead of going and looking for new work, I started freelancing, and I made it through the second half of the year. I did have unemployment for a short while, but I managed to find my way as a freelance video editor, music producer, and of course, an improv instructor. instructor as well. I do a lot of improv, so if you want to take improv classes, you can watch out for those. But my resolution is to do more freelancing all the way throughout the year. I'd love to make the year end in a positive note financially without the support of a major corporation. That's my goal. What's your goal? Make sure you check out Midnight Notions music. Another resolution would be I would love to have more people listening to my music. So stream it on Spotify or iTunes or Bandcamp or wherever you get your music. And of course, smash that subscribe button, because another resolution is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So help me make it happen. It's free for you and it's money for me and it's more content for you. So why not give it a try? I'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be my world, not your world. It's my world. Thanks for watching. See you then.